Ooh, that looks tasty.
Welcome folks, The Hungry Gamer is back with another mini preview, and today we are talking about Battle for Greyport, but the new stuff, which should be on Kickstarter right now. I think it just launched this morning. And if you have followed the channel since the beginning, you'll know that Battle for Greyport is a game that I really like. It is the Red Dragon in universe and characters, but it is a cooperative deck building game. But what it does is it does a thing that I love, and that is every turn you know exactly what your buying power is. You have it, there's a market out there, and the focus of the game, even though it is deck building, is not on the purchasing of cards per se. You don't have cards that you're using to purchase more cards. All of your cards are going to be some kind of either hero or item that you're going to be using together. You know, hero can use an item, and each turn you're able to play one hero and one item on that hero. Of course, sometimes you have items that let you play more heroes and so on, and they all have different powers. And what you're doing is you're going through a series of 3 different battles. And in each battle will be a different location. That location will have special rules for it. It might be something that is a benefit for you, or it might be something that hurts you, but usually it's a benefit, something along the lines of each character can play 2 items instead of just 1 on a hero, or whatever it may be. And what's going to be happening is at the end of each turn, the active hero will get damaged by all the bad guys in front of it. It tells you exactly how much damage to do, usually 1 or 2, and the location will also get damaged at the end of every turn. And if the location never gets destroyed, well, that's bad news, and some kind of penalty will happen, and you'll lose the power, and that's horrible. You don't want to do that. You want to save the town. Now, the way you're doing that is each turn, as I mentioned, there's the active hero. And the active hero is going to be the one that's going to get hit, and they get to play, as I said, they're 1 hero and they're 1 item. And they're going to do damage to the bad guys. Nice and simple. However, you're going to be rolling dice. Most of the heroes will have either a yellow, white, or green die, though in some of the expansions there's some other colored dice and stuff in there. And that's going to determine how much damage you do. It's a 6-sided die with different numbers on it. And the items will either give you more dice you get to add to it, or a static boost, if you're +1, +2, +3, or +1 per enemy you're fighting, whatever it is. Great! All well and simple. Most games do that. If somebody's attacking you, you fight back. However, every other player around the table also gets to play 1 hero and 1 item to attack something that is in front of the active hero. So now you're all working together. Here's the catch, though. At the end of the active hero's turn, they'll get to spend 1 of their coins to buy something that'll go into their hand, and they'll wind up drawing back up to 5, and their main hero that they're playing will refresh and they can use it again. Nobody else around the table gets to do that. So as you're using things, you are losing the access to them. I should say you have less cards in your hand. And there's various ways that you're pulling monsters around. You can taunt, which will pull a monster off the active hero so it won't do damage to them, or whatever it may be. And you're doing a whole bunch of puzzling out how to avoid having different characters or the town be destroyed, because you are always overwhelmed at the beginning, and it always feels like you're overwhelmed. And you'll go through your 2 fights, and then the third one, the boss will be there, and you'll have to deal with the boss. The boss will have his own rules, and usually you just have to kill the boss, but sometimes you have to kill the boss and then kill everything else. All of those kinds of things. I've talked many times about how much I like the game. I've also talked on another podcast for Level Up Board Game Podcast. I talked on there how I thought this was a game that, when it first came out, it was just too hard. Like it was unwinnable. But the first expansion and some rules erratas and some changes suddenly made the game that's just really good. I always have fun playing it. I even went and bought a bunch of metal coins so I could upgrade it, and I got the big old metal taunt marker and all this. I just really like it. It is a very fun game, and arguably my favorite deck builder, period. And it's fantastic, and to my knowledge, dead, because it just didn't do that well. However, not true, because as I said, there is a new expansion, the Copperforge expansion. And one, it's bringing a bunch more heroes, some of my favorite. We got Gog in there. I always love Gog. You can play Eve, the Illusionist, which is a fascinating character to play. There's Wizgil, there's Lizwick, and just all these different characters that you can be. Wrench, you can be Wrench. And more so than the original characters, these new characters feel a little bit different, a little bit more complex. I don't know if that's actually true, but they feel that way. And along with that, some more levels, new types of bad guys, and a few more mechanics. The main new mechanic is there are contraptions that are out there, and these various contraptions will go on to certain bad guys, which are boosts for them, random boosts. So each bad guy will have, might be +2 damage, it might be a shield, they get to do a slash, whatever. But when you defeat them, they'll drop that contraption. You spin the card around to the other side, and now that will come into your hand as a new card you can use, and sometimes as a card that's only one use. Great. So, what do I like about this expansion? And what I will just say is, it is everything that was good about the game before. More characters, and personally some of my favorite characters. And as I mentioned, each of those characters are some of the characters that are, I'm going to say, a little more interesting in Red Dragon Inn. That's not a pejorative. By interesting, I mean they have just these extra little mechanics. And these extra mechanics that they have found their way into their starting decks, and they just feel fresh. I enjoy playing all the original characters, but the core of what they were doing different felt like it was on their character card. Now the new ones, it feels like there's more to it than that, which I think is as it should be, that they slowly start to get a little more complex as more of these characters come in. And I also will say I adore the contraptions. They drive me insane because you have these things that suddenly they're getting this little bad guys out there, and it's, okay, that's bad enough. Then you pull out something new and say, oh my gosh, it's going to be doing extra damage. So now that changes the whole plan. Now I have to make sure that I'm going to pull it off of the town because it's going to kill it faster than I want to. Of course, now that means I have to kill that first when really I wanted to kill that. And it adds just one little layer of complexity. But rather than just being frustrating, it's actually delightful because then when you kill it, you get these cards, and these other cards can be fantastic bonuses that sometimes is exactly what you need, especially early in the game when you're trying to build up your strength. It just wonderful. I think everything they've added works really, really well. Does it fix the core challenges to the game? No, I mean, it's still a challenging game. It is still one that is based around rolling dice, and as we all know, dice can sometimes be swingy, and there's those times when I swear it feels like I'm rolling those yellow dice and all I can roll is a 1. But to me, that's okay because that's what I love about the game. I love the challenge of the game, and I love how that's built in there. I love playing the game solo, which you play with 2 different characters, and I love that feel. I love that tightness of the game as you're trying to work it out, because you can't really do too much pulling of monsters away because, well, you're going to be fighting them immediately the next turn. But then when you spread it out to a 4-player game or even a 5-player game, you're suddenly having more to play with as far as strategy goes, because now, yeah, the game's going to be longer, but now you're pulling things around the board, and something that's a real problem over here, we're just going to pull it way over here, and it's going to be a problem in 4 turns from now, and by then, hopefully, we've thinned the herd of bad guys a little bit. And it just is everything that I want in a cooperative deck builder. It has the characters that I love, all of those things. And so you still have all that, well, goodness. And I truly think this is a very, very good game. I've said this for years now. It's a very, very good game. I think they've done the right work in chopping away some of the challenges that came with the initial printing. And now it's just something that is relatively simple to play, very hard to master, and with a nice healthy dose of dice chucking goodness thrown in there. And for my money, it's hard to beat. And I say for my money because I've bought all of it. I even went out and bought upgrade stuff for it that didn't even exist, so I had to make my own upgrades. It's a really, really good cooperative deck building adventure game. Just really good. Now, with that said, it doesn't mean there are no quibbles. I've already kind of talked about it a little bit, but with that said, if you are somebody that wants that traditional deck building experience, this is not for you, because you're not going to be buying cards that's going to let you buy more cards, which means you're not going to have those turns when suddenly you can just buy anything you want out there. You're going to buy one thing every turn, and you know before the battle even starts, you're going to have 1 silver coin and 2 bronze and 1 gold, or whatever it is that you have, and you know what you can buy with that. Period. Done. It's a very different feel, a very different vibe. So you don't have that kind of core Dominion style deck building experience that you may be used to, you may love, that you may thrive upon. That's not in here. Also, I will say, if you don't like the randomness of dice, this one probably won't be for you. And last thing I'll say is, if you don't like a game that gets real hard, this one also might not be for you. Yes, with the new rules, they've changed it to where it is winnable for someone who doesn't want a super hard game. But even so, you get up to the harder scenarios, they are still insanely hard, very challenging, and can be frustrating because you just feel like you're getting swamped. But all that said, I love Battle for Greyport. I think it's really fun. I've loved having access to the TTS for the past month or so and getting to play through not all the combinations, but a bunch of the different combinations, trying things out, and this is just a game that if what I've said sounds remotely interesting, and especially if you like the Red Dragon Inn universe, that you just don't want to miss because it really is that good. This was on my most underappreciated games list, and it would be on there again. I hope one day I could be able to pull it off that list because it's just that good. It's great. Check it out. Play it. Love it. And if you don't, well, don't tell me because I'll be sad, I guess. I don't know. Anyhow, there you have it, folks. That is the new Battle for Greyport expansion. I apologize for this video being a little bit meandering because I'm just very excited about it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And yeah, there it is. But as always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.